My beloved child, do not scroll away, not yet. There is a reason your eyes stopped here at this exact moment. There is a reason your spirit suddenly became still. And there is a reason these words are reaching you right now. This is not coincidence. You may think you clicked on this message by accident. You may believe this is just another video appearing before you during another ordinary day. But my child, listen carefully to me now. Nothing about this moment is random. Before this day ever arrived, before this hour, before this very breath you are taking right now, I already knew this encounter would happen. I saw this moment long before you did, and something has already started shifting inside your life. Do not ignore that feeling within you, that strange pull, that quiet stirring in your chest, that unexplainable sense that these words were meant specifically for you. Because they were. My beloved child, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5, I knew every fear you would carry, every disappointment, every sleepless night, every silent breakdown you never spoke about, every moment you smiled in front of others while secretly feeling exhausted inside. I knew all of it, and still, I chose you. You have spent so much time wondering if anyone truly sees you, if anyone notices the weight you carry every day, if anyone understands how tired your spirit has become. But I have always seen you. Even during the moments when you believed heaven had gone silent, I was still beside you. Even when you felt forgotten, I was carefully guiding your steps. Even when you questioned your purpose, I was already arranging pieces of your future that you cannot yet understand. My child, hear me clearly now. You are not watching this message accidentally. You were led here. I know the world around you has been loud lately. Your thoughts have been restless. Your heart has felt heavy. There are moments when you no longer recognize the person you used to be. You try to stay strong. You try to keep moving forward. But deep inside, there has been a growing exhaustion that nobody else fully understands. And sometimes, late at night, you wonder if things will ever truly change. You wonder if peace will ever return, if joy will ever feel real again, if your life will always feel like survival instead of living. But my precious child, do not let hopelessness speak louder than my voice, because this message is arriving at the exact moment your spirit needed confirmation. Something has already started shifting, not tomorrow, not someday far away, now. You may not fully see it yet. You may not understand what I am doing behind the scenes. But movement has already begun in places you cannot yet perceive. The delay was never abandonment. The silence was never punishment. And the confusion was never proof that I left you. I was preparing you. There were things happening beyond your sight. Battles you never knew I protected you from. Doors I closed because they would have wounded you deeply. People I removed because they could not go where I am taking you. You cried over losses that were actually protection. You mourned seasons that needed to end. You begged for certain things to remain while I was trying to rescue your future. But soon, you will understand why nothing unfolded the way you expected. My child, listen closely now, because this next part matters deeply. The enemy wanted you distracted before this moment arrived. That heaviness you have felt, that unusual exhaustion, that sudden discouragement, that confusion that appeared without warning, it was not random. There are forces that wanted your attention pulled away from this message. Forces that hoped you would keep scrolling. Forces that hoped you would remain trapped in fear long enough to miss what I am saying to you now. Because once you fully realize that I am still with you, everything begins to change. Once you realize you are not abandoned, your strength begins returning. Once you realize your suffering had purpose, your despair loses power over you. And once you realize I have been guiding you this entire time, the fear that controlled your mind begins to break. My beloved child, I know there were moments you almost gave up. Moments you felt emotionally numb. Moments you secretly wondered whether your prayers were even reaching me. Moments you became tired of pretending to be okay. I saw every single one. I saw the nights you cried in silence. I saw you fighting battles in your mind that nobody else knew existed. I saw the loneliness hidden behind your smile. I saw the disappointment you buried so deeply that even the people closest to you never noticed. And still, you kept going. Even with weak faith, you kept breathing. Even while exhausted, you kept trying. Even while carrying pain, you continued searching for hope. Do you understand how precious that is to me? That small flicker of faith you still carry, even after everything you endured, is powerful. You think you are weak because you became tired. But my child, weak people would have stopped long ago. The fact that you are still here proves there is something inside you the darkness could not destroy. And that is exactly why this message found you. Because your story is not over, not even close. I know you feel different lately, more sensitive, more emotionally aware, more disconnected from things that once distracted you. You have been wondering why certain environments suddenly feel heavy, why certain conversations drain you, why some relationships no longer feel the same. It is because I am awakening your spirit. You are entering a new season whether you realize it or not. The old version of you cannot follow where I am leading you. That is why things feel unfamiliar. That is why your soul feels restless. That is why you sense change approaching even if you cannot explain it logically. Something inside you already knows. And my child, do not fear this transformation. Do not run back toward old habits simply because they feel familiar. Do not cling to environments that suffocate your spirit. Do not ignore the quiet voice within you that keeps whispering, "You were made for more than this." Because that voice is from me. I have been speaking to you softly for a long time, through moments of stillness, through repeated signs, through unexpected emotions, through closed doors, through divine interruptions, through the quiet ache in your spirit that keeps reminding you that your current season is not your final destination. I need you to hear this deeply now. Your life is not falling apart. It is being repositioned. Everything happening right now is separating you from the version of yourself that lived in fear, survival, confusion, and emotional exhaustion. I am calling you into something greater. Yes, the process feels uncomfortable. Yes, some days feel lonely. Yes, there are moments you feel uncertain. But do not mistake transition for abandonment. I am closer to you now than you realize. Even here, even in this moment, while these words reach your spirit, I am with you. Take a deep breath, my precious child. You do not need to carry tomorrow all at once. You do not need every answer immediately. You do not need to understand every detail of the road ahead. You only need to trust that I am already there. The breakthrough you prayed for, the healing you cried for, the peace your spirit longs for. It is closer than you think. But first, I needed your attention. First, I needed you still enough to hear me clearly. First, I needed this moment between us. That is why this message found you. Not because of an algorithm, not because of luck, not because of coincidence, but because I wanted your heart before the next season begins. And my child, the next season has already started. So do not scroll away from this moment too quickly. Stay here with me, listen closely, because what I am about to reveal next will explain why your life has felt so heavy lately. And once you understand it, you will never see your struggles the same way again. My beloved child, I need you to stay with me for this next part. Do not rush past these words, because there are wounds inside you that you rarely allow anyone to see. Pain you learn to hide so deeply that even the people closest to you do not fully understand. What you carry every day, but I understand. I always have. And tonight, I want you to stop pretending that you were never hurt. I saw you. I saw the nights you cried alone after everyone else had fallen asleep. I saw the moments you covered your face because you did not want anyone hearing your tears. I saw the silent shaking in your chest when the weight became too heavy to explain. I saw you, even when nobody texted back, even when nobody noticed your silence, even when you sat surrounded by people yet still felt completely alone inside. I was there. You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. Psalm 56:8, my precious child, not one tear escaped my sight. Not one. The world may have overlooked your suffering. People may have minimized your pain. Some may have told you to move on without realizing how deeply you were wounded. But I never dismissed what hurt you. I know the betrayal that changed your heart. I know the rejection that made you question your worth. I know the exhaustion of constantly being strong for everyone else while secretly falling apart inside. And I know the loneliness you never talk about. That loneliness that appears late at night when distractions fade away. That emptiness that suddenly rises in your chest for no clear reason. That feeling that nobody truly sees the real version of you. But my beloved, I see you completely. I see the version of you that smiles while struggling. The version of you that comforts others while needing comfort yourself. The version of you that keeps saying, I'm okay, because explaining the truth feels too exhausting. I saw you survive days you thought would break you, and my child, there were moments when you came closer to giving up than anyone realizes. Moments you felt emotionally numb. Moments you wondered if life would ever feel light again. Moments when you stared into the darkness asking silently, how much longer can I keep carrying this? I heard every question. I heard the prayers you whispered through tears. I heard the prayers you could not even put into words. And I even heard the silence when your exhaustion became so deep that you no longer knew what to pray for. I saw you. There were nights you begged for answers. Nights you replayed painful memories over and over in your mind. Nights you blamed yourself for things that were never your fault to carry. You wondered whether you failed, whether you were forgotten, whether your life would always feel this heavy. But my child, listen carefully now. Your suffering was never meaningless. The pain you endured in silence was preparing something inside you. I know that is difficult for you to understand right now, because when you were crying alone, it did not feel like preparation. It felt like abandonment. When doors kept closing, it did not feel like protection. It felt like rejection. When people walked away, it did not feel like redirection. It felt like loss. But I need you to hear me clearly tonight. I was still working even in your worst moments, especially in those moments. While you thought your spirit was breaking, I was strengthening parts of you that comfort could never reach. While you thought you were losing yourself, I was removing versions of you that could not follow where I am leading you. And while you believed nothing good could come from your suffering, I was quietly building resilience, wisdom, discernment, and spiritual depth inside your soul. You survived things that changed you forever, and sometimes that change made you feel disconnected from who you used to be. You became quieter, more cautious, more emotionally guarded. You stopped trusting people so easily. You stopped expecting others to stay. You stopped speaking openly about your pain because too many people misunderstood it. So instead, you carried it silently. I saw you. I saw you sitting alone, trying to hold yourself together. I saw you wiping tears quickly before anyone noticed. I saw the heaviness behind your eyes even while you laughed in public. My child, you became so used to surviving that you forgot what peace feels like. And yet, despite everything, you are still here. That matters more than you realize, because many people would have become bitter after what you endured. Many people would have hardened their hearts completely. Many people would have stopped believing in love, hope, or healing altogether. But somewhere deep inside you, there is still a small part of your spirit searching for light. That is why this message found you, not because you are weak, but because your soul is exhausted from carrying pain you were never meant to carry alone. My beloved child, I never intended for you to fight every battle by yourself. You were not created to constantly live in survival mode. You were not created to hide your tears out of fear of burdening others. You were not created to carry guilt, rejection, anxiety, heartbreak, and exhaustion every single day without rest. Come closer to me now, because I want to heal the hidden places inside you that nobody else knows exist. The hidden grief, the hidden fear, the hidden disappointment, the hidden loneliness. I know there are still memories that hurt when they return unexpectedly. I know certain words spoken over your life still echo in your mind. I know there are moments from your past you replay quietly, because part of you still wonders why things unfolded the way they did. And I know you secretly ask yourself, why did I have to go through all of this? My child, one day you will fully understand that your silent suffering was shaping your spirit for something greater than you can currently see. Right now, you only see the tears, but I see the transformation. Right now, you only remember the heartbreak, but I see the wisdom your pain created. Right now, you only feel the exhaustion, but I see the strength you developed every time you refused to quit. There is a depth within you now that did not exist before, a compassion within you, a spiritual awareness within you, a sensitivity within you. Your suffering changed the way you see people. It changed the way you love. It changed the way you pray. It changed the way you survive. And although the process wounded you, it also awakened you. I know there are still days when your heart suddenly feels heavy for no obvious reason. Moments when sadness appears out of nowhere. Moments when you become emotionally overwhelmed and cannot explain why. Do not shame yourself for that. Healing is not always loud. Sometimes healing happens quietly, slowly, deeply. Like rain falling during the night where nobody notices the ground is changing until morning comes. That is what I have been doing inside you, changing the ground of your spirit. I know you wanted immediate answers, immediate healing, immediate relief. But some wounds require deeper restoration. Not temporary comfort, not distraction, not pretending, real healing. And real healing often begins in hidden places where nobody else can see the process. That is why your lonely nights mattered. Those nights taught you how to seek me when nothing else could comfort you. Those nights stripped away illusions. Those nights revealed who truly cared for you. Those nights exposed what was draining your spirit. Those nights forced you to stop depending on things that could never truly heal your soul. You thought you were being destroyed, but my beloved, you were being prepared. Prepared for discernment, prepared for deeper purpose, prepared for a season where you will no longer settle for relationships, environments, or habits that slowly destroy your peace. And soon, very soon, you will begin seeing why everything had to unfold the way it did. The tears will make sense. The delays will make sense. Even the loneliness will make sense, because I was never absent from your suffering. I was sitting beside you through every tear you cried alone. I saw you. I saw all of it. And my child, I have not forgotten a single prayer. My beloved child, listen closely now, because what I am about to reveal will explain so much of the confusion, heaviness, and exhaustion you have been carrying. There were battles happening around you that you could not see, battles beyond human understanding, battles that affected your thoughts, your emotions, your peace, your strength, and even your ability to hope. You thought everything was simply bad luck. You blamed yourself for every delay. You questioned your worth after every betrayal. You wondered why certain seasons felt impossibly heavy. But my child, the war against you was spiritual, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Ephesians 6:12. What you could not see was that the enemy wanted you exhausted, exhausted enough to stop praying, exhausted enough to lose faith, exhausted enough to believe you were forgotten, exhausted enough to give up before your breakthrough arrived. That is why the attacks often came all at once, one disappointment after another. One betrayal after another, one heavy season flowing directly into the next. You kept asking, why does everything feel so difficult lately? Why does peace disappear so quickly? Why do I constantly feel emotionally drained? Because there were forces trying to wear down your spirit, not because you are weak, but because there is something valuable inside you. The enemy does not attack empty things. The intensity of the battle was proof of the significance of your purpose. My child, hear me carefully now. There is a reason certain people suddenly became distant. There is a reason confusion entered your mind during important moments. There is a reason fear tried to overwhelm you whenever you came close to growth, healing, or transformation. The enemy recognized your potential before you fully recognized it yourself. That is why discouragement followed you so aggressively. That is why anxiety tried to silence your spirit. That is why hopelessness kept whispering, nothing will ever change. But those whispers were never the truth. They were distractions sent to pull you away from your destiny. I know there were days when your thoughts became unbearably heavy. Days when your mind would not rest. Days when fear kept replaying worst-case scenarios inside your head. You thought something was wrong with you. But my beloved, what you could not see was that darkness often attacks the mind before it attacks anything else. Because once peace disappears, clarity becomes harder to hear. And the enemy wanted your mind filled with noise. Noise from fear, noise from regret, noise from insecurity, noise from overthinking, noise from painful memories. Anything to keep you from hearing my voice clearly. That is why you felt mentally exhausted, even when you had done nothing physically draining. It was warfare. I saw the pressure surrounding you. I saw the heaviness pressing against your spirit. I saw the invisible attacks trying to convince you that you were unloved, abandoned, forgotten, or broken. But I protected you. There were moments you came far closer to destruction than you realize. Moments you never fully understood. Moments where one wrong decision could have changed everything. Moments where unseen danger stood near your path, but I protected you. I redirected certain situations before they reached you. I blocked doors you desperately wanted opened. I removed people you begged to keep. I delayed certain plans because the timing would have harmed you instead of helped you. And although you cried over those closed doors, those delays saved you. What you called rejection was often protection. What you called abandonment was often rescue. And what you called silence was often me fighting battles for you that you knew nothing about. My precious child, there were nights the enemy tried to convince you that your life had no meaning. Nights where despair felt stronger than hope. Nights where exhaustion wrapped around your spirit so heavily that even getting through the day felt difficult. The enemy wanted you isolated because isolation makes lies sound believable. When you are hurting alone for too long, fear begins speaking louder. Doubt grows stronger, and hopelessness slowly starts convincing you that things will never improve. But I never left you alone in those moments. Even when you could not feel my presence, I remained beside you. Even while you were crying, I was protecting your spirit from breaking completely. My beloved child, do you realize how many times I carried you without you noticing? There were days you should have collapsed emotionally, but somehow you kept going. There were moments your heart felt shattered, yet something inside you still refused to quit. There were seasons when darkness surrounded you, yet a small flicker of faith somehow survived. That was not accidental, that was me sustaining you. The enemy wanted your identity destroyed. Because if you ever fully discover who you truly are, you become dangerous to the darkness that tried to control you. You were never ordinary. That is why your battles felt unusually intense. People misunderstood you because they could not perceive what was inside you. Certain environments drained you because your spirit was never designed to remain there permanently. And some attacks intensified precisely when you started moving closer toward healing, purpose, and transformation. The enemy becomes threatened whenever someone begins awakening spiritually. That is why confusion increased whenever clarity approached. That is why fear increased whenever breakthrough approached. That is why exhaustion increased whenever purpose approached. But listen carefully now, my child. The fact that you survived proves the attacks failed. You are still here, still breathing, still searching, still hoping, still listening to my voice right now. And that alone is proof that darkness could not destroy what I placed inside you. I know you have questioned your strength lately, but weak people do not survive battles like yours. You endured warfare that would have shattered many others completely. Yet despite the anxiety, despite the betrayal, despite the emotional exhaustion, despite the hidden pain, you are still standing. And the enemy hates that. Because every day you continue moving forward becomes evidence that my hand remains upon your life. My beloved child, do not interpret your battles as proof that I abandoned you. The battle itself was proof that your future still matters. Darkness fights hardest against what carries light, and you carry more light than you realize. That is why the enemy tried to bury your confidence. That is why insecurity followed you. That is why shame attacked your identity. That is why disappointment repeated itself for so long. The enemy hoped repeated pain would convince you to stop believing in your future. But I would not allow your story to end there. I protected you, even when your heart broke. I protected you, even when you cried alone. I protected you. Even when your mind felt overwhelmed, I protected you. And even now, while you listen to these words, I am still protecting you. You may not always recognize the warfare immediately. Sometimes it hides behind distraction. Sometimes it hides behind unhealthy attachments. Sometimes it hides behind fear disguised as logic. But now your eyes are beginning to open. You are beginning to understand why your spirit has felt under pressure for so long. Because your life carries purpose. There is something within you that heaven intends to use, and the enemy recognized it long before you fully did. But my child, what darkness tried to stop, I will still bring forth. No attack can cancel what I have spoken over your life. No betrayal can destroy the purpose I placed inside you. No delay can erase your destiny. No season of suffering can remove my hand from your future. The warfare was real. The attacks were real, the exhaustion was real, but my power protecting you was greater than all of it. So stop believing the lie that you are weak because you struggled. The very fact that you survived proves there is an anointing upon your life. The enemy could not extinguish, and this is only the beginning, because soon, very soon, you will begin seeing why the darkness fought so hard to stop you from reaching this season. What you could not see before is about to become clear, and when it does, you will finally understand why I never allowed the enemy to destroy you. My beloved child, I know your heart still aches over certain people. You still replay conversations in your mind. You still wonder why they changed, why they became distant, why they suddenly disappeared after promising they would stay. And if you are honest, part of you still carries confusion from the way things ended. You keep asking yourself, well, what did I do wrong? Why did they walk away? Why did people I loved suddenly become cold? But my precious child, listen carefully now. Some doors had to close. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Isaiah 43:19, I know it hurt. I know the silence wounded you. I know being ignored felt cruel. I know the rejection made you question your worth. I know the ghosting left unanswered questions inside your spirit. You expected loyalty. You expected honesty. You expected certain people to walk beside you into your future. But instead, they disappeared. They betrayed your trust. They changed without explanation. Or they slowly drifted away while you desperately tried to hold everything together. And because you loved deeply, you blamed yourself for the separation. But my child, the people leaving were not always a loss. Some were distractions, some were delays, some were assignments sent to drain your peace. and some were never meant to enter the season I am bringing you into now. You keep mourning relationships that I was trying to remove from your path. I know those words are difficult to hear because your heart remembers the good moments. Your heart remembers the memories. Your heart remembers the version of them you hoped would stay forever. But what you could not see was that some connections were slowly destroying your spirit. Not every person around you carried good intentions. Not every smile was genuine. Not every relationship was aligned with your destiny. Some people only had access to you because they benefited from your kindness. Some remained close only while it was convenient. And some were unknowingly being used to keep you emotionally exhausted, distracted, insecure, and spiritually stuck. My beloved child, you outgrew certain environments before you emotionally accepted it. That is why your spirit began feeling uncomfortable around certain people. That is why some conversations suddenly felt draining. That is why your peace disappeared around certain energies. Your spirit recognized misalignment before your emotions did. But because you feared loneliness, you kept holding on. You kept trying to save relationships that were already ending. You kept over-explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You kept begging for clarity from people who had already emotionally left. And every time you ignored the warning inside your spirit, the heaviness grew stronger. I saw you trying so hard to keep everyone together. I saw you carrying relationships alone. I saw you exhausting yourself, trying to prove your worth to people who were blind to your value. And my child, that was never the love I intended for you. Real love does not constantly leave you anxious. Real connection does not repeatedly destroy your peace. Real loyalty does not disappear the moment life becomes inconvenient. Some people were attached to the old version of you, the version that overgave, the version that tolerated disrespect, the version that abandoned your own peace just to keep others comfortable. But you are changing now, and not everyone can follow where I am taking you. That is why separation became necessary. I know you interpreted certain endings as punishment, but many of those endings were protection. I removed people before they could damage the next season of your life. I blocked connections that would have delayed your healing. I exposed betrayals before you became even more emotionally attached. And yes, sometimes I allowed distance because you would never have walked away on your own. You were too loyal to release what was hurting you, so I intervened. Some doors had to close, not because you were unloved, not because you were unworthy, but because I saw where those paths would eventually lead. You only saw temporary comfort. I saw long-term destruction. You cried over people who secretly envied your spirit. You mourned connections that were slowly suffocating your future. You begged for access to relationships that could not survive where I am leading you next. My child, there are blessings attached to your next season that cannot coexist with certain people from your past. And deep down, your spirit already knows this. That is why some separations felt strangely painful and peaceful at the same time. Part of you grieved, but another part of you quietly felt relief because your soul was tired of chasing inconsistent love, tired of carrying emotional confusion, tired of feeling drained every time you interacted with certain people. You kept trying to water relationships that no longer carried life. But I am calling you into a season where peace will no longer require struggle, a season where you will stop begging for bare minimum affection, a season where your spirit will no longer shrink just to remain accepted. My beloved child, do not mistake isolation for abandonment. Sometimes I separate you temporarily so your healing can begin without constant interference. You have spent too much time surrounded by noise, too much time carrying other people's chaos, too much time absorbing emotions, expectations, manipulation, and confusion that were never yours to carry. I needed to pull you away before your spirit completely collapsed under the weight of it all. And yes, the isolation hurt. The silence exposed wounds you had been avoiding. The loneliness forced you to confront parts of yourself that distractions once covered. The separation revealed how emotionally exhausted you truly were. But healing often begins in quiet places. I know there are moments you still miss people who hurt you. That confuses you sometimes. You wonder, why do I still care after everything they did? Why does my heart still feel attached? Because your heart is genuine. You loved sincerely. You invested deeply. You saw potential in people even when they failed to see your value. That was never weakness. But now I am teaching you something important. Not everyone who enters your life is assigned to stay forever. Some people are lessons, some are warnings, some reveal wounds still needing healing, and some only appear long enough to redirect you toward your true path. You must stop idolizing people I already removed. My child, listen closely now because this next part matters deeply. The enemy often uses emotional attachment to delay destiny, because if he can keep your heart trapped in the past, he can keep your spirit distracted from the future. That is why certain memories keep replaying. That is why you keep wondering, what if? No, that is why part of you still hopes some people will suddenly become who you needed them to be. But my beloved, if someone was truly assigned to your future, they would not repeatedly destroy your peace. You cannot enter a new season while clinging to what continuously wounds your spirit. Some doors had to close, and one day, you will thank me for the endings you cried over, because soon you will see what I was protecting you from. You will understand why certain plans failed, why certain people disappeared, why certain relationships collapsed despite your efforts to save them. I know it feels painful now, but there are connections I am preparing for your future that will not require you to abandon yourself in order to keep them. There are people I am sending who will recognize your heart instead of exploiting it. People who bring peace instead of confusion. People who strengthen your spirit instead of draining it. But before that season arrives, I needed to clear space. I needed to remove distractions. I needed to break unhealthy attachments. I needed to separate you from environments where your soul could no longer grow. Because, my child, you cannot step into your breakthrough while carrying people determined to keep you emotionally chained to your old life. So stop begging closed doors to reopen. Stop chasing what I already removed. Stop romanticizing relationships that repeatedly wounded your spirit. Stop blaming yourself for separations that heaven allowed intentionally. Some endings were divine rescue, and although the cutting was painful, it is making room for the life I have been preparing for you all along. My beloved child, I know the silence has been difficult for you. There were moments you thought I had become distant, moments when heaven felt quiet, moments when your prayers seemed to disappear into emptiness without answers returning. And if you are honest, that silence frightened you, because you thought silence meant abandonment. You thought the stillness meant I had forgotten you. You thought the waiting meant nothing was happening. You thought the isolation meant you were being left behind while everyone else moved forward. But my precious child, the silence was never punishment. It was preparation. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. I know how uncomfortable stillness feels for you. You became so accustomed to noise, so accustomed to distraction, so accustomed to constantly carrying pressure, expectations, fear, and emotional chaos. And then suddenly, everything became quiet. Certain people disappeared. Certain opportunities slowed down. Certain desires no longer satisfied you the way they once did. And now you sit in this unfamiliar space wondering, why does my life suddenly feel so different? Why do I feel disconnected from everything around me? Why does it feel like I'm being pulled away from the world? My beloved, because I am pulling you closer to me. You are entering a sacred season, a hidden season, a season where I am removing noise so your spirit can finally hear my voice clearly again. The silence is not empty, it is holy. What feels like isolation is actually spiritual repositioning. I know you miss the distractions sometimes. The constant conversations, the attention, the busyness, the temporary comforts that once kept you from facing your deeper wounds. But many of those distractions were slowly drowning out my voice inside you. So I quieted everything, not to harm you, but to heal you. My child, listen carefully now, because this next part matters deeply. There are transformations that can only happen in silence. Seeds grow beneath the soil where nobody sees them. Roots deepen underground before fruit ever appears. And spirits are strengthened most powerfully in hidden seasons where human validation disappears. That is the season you are entering now, a hidden preparation. The world may not understand what is happening inside you. Some people may even think you are becoming distant, strange, emotional, or withdrawn. But what they cannot see is that I am rebuilding your spirit from the inside out. I am teaching you how to survive without depending on constant approval. I am teaching you how to hear my voice above the noise of fear. I am teaching you how to rest instead of constantly fighting to prove your worth. And yes, part of this process feels lonely, because healing often requires separation before restoration. I know there are nights when the quiet feels heavy, nights when your thoughts become louder because distractions are gone, nights when old memories suddenly return, nights when your heart feels exposed before me in ways you cannot hide anymore. But my beloved child, those nights are not meaningless. I meet you there. I meet you in the stillness. I meet you in the tears you never show anyone. I meet you in the exhausted silence after long days of pretending you are okay. You are not alone in this hidden season. I am with you more deeply now than ever before, even if you cannot fully feel it yet, because stillness is often where my presence becomes clearest. The world teaches you to constantly move, constantly chase, constantly perform, constantly prove yourself. But I am teaching you something different now. I am teaching you to be still, to breathe again, to rest again, to stop carrying burdens that were never yours to hold, to stop chasing people who cannot give you peace, to stop exhausting yourself trying to control everything. The silence is teaching you surrender, and surrender is where true healing begins. My child, there are parts of your spirit that became deeply tired from survival mode. You have been emotionally alert for too long, always preparing for disappointment, always expecting betrayal, always waiting for something else to go wrong. Even when good things appeared, part of you remained afraid, because pain taught you to expect loss. But now I am slowing you down long enough to heal that fear inside you. I am teaching your nervous spirit that peace is possible again. Not temporary peace, not fragile peace, but deep peace. The kind that remains even when life around you feels uncertain. That is why I brought you into this sacred stillness, not to isolate you from love, but to separate you from confusion, not to make you feel abandoned, but to reposition your spirit for what comes next. Because, my child, you cannot hear destiny clearly while surrounded by constant noise, and there are instructions for your next season that require stillness to receive. Comment Amen if you feel God has been preparing you in silence. Type 1, trust you God, if you receive this message. My beloved child, I know waiting is difficult, especially when you cannot yet see what I am doing behind the scenes. You keep looking for visible movement, visible answers, visible breakthroughs. But much of my greatest work happens invisibly first. Before I open doors publicly, I prepare spirits privately. Before elevation comes, separation comes. Before clarity comes, silence often comes first. And before breakthrough arrives, I usually remove the distractions that would have ruined it. That is why your circle became smaller. That is why your desires started changing. That is why your spirit no longer feels comfortable in places it once tolerated easily. You are changing, quietly, deeply, spiritually, and this transformation cannot be rushed. I know there are moments you feel misunderstood, moments when nobody fully understands what you are experiencing internally. But some spiritual journeys cannot be explained to people who are not walking through them. Do not fear this hidden season, because hidden seasons produce strong spirits. I know you sometimes compare your life to others. You wonder why everyone else seems louder, happier, more successful, more connected. But comparison is one of the enemy's greatest distractions during preparation seasons. Because if he can convince you that nothing is happening, you may abandon the process too early. Do not leave the silence before the healing is complete. Do not run back toward noise simply because stillness feels uncomfortable. Stay close to me here, because there are things I can reveal in quiet places that the noise of the world would never allow you to hear. In this stillness, your discernment is sharpening. In this stillness, your identity is healing. In this stillness, your spirit is awakening, and soon you will begin noticing the shift. The anxiety that once controlled you will slowly lose power. The confusion clouding your mind will begin lifting. The emotional heaviness you carried for so long will begin breaking apart piece by piece, not because the world suddenly changed overnight, but because your spirit changed. You are learning how to rest in my presence instead of constantly fighting for control. And my child, that changes everything. One day you will look back at this lonely season differently. You will realize the silence protected you. You will realize the stillness healed you. You will realize the separation saved you from paths that would have destroyed your peace. And most importantly, you will realize I was never distant. I was sitting beside you in the silence the entire time, preparing you for the life that is about to unfold next. My beloved child, do not be afraid of what you have been feeling lately. I know there are moments when you barely recognize yourself anymore. The things that once excited you no longer satisfy you the same way. The places that once felt familiar now feel uncomfortable. Certain conversations drain you. Certain environments feel heavy. Even your thoughts, emotions, and desires have begun shifting in ways you cannot fully explain. And part of you has quietly wondered, what is happening to me? My precious child, you are changing. You can feel it. And what you are experiencing is not destruction, it is transformation. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. 2 Corinthians 5:17. The old version of you is falling away, not because you are losing yourself, but because I am revealing who you truly were all along. I know this process feels unfamiliar, sometimes even frightening, because growth often feels like loss before it feels like rebirth. You are grieving parts of yourself that once helped you survive. Old mindsets, old attachments, old identities, old coping mechanisms, old versions of yourself built from fear, trauma, rejection, and survival. For so long, you became who you needed to be in order to endure pain. You learned how to hide your emotions. You learned how to stay quiet to avoid conflict. You learned how to expect disappointment before hope could hurt you again. You learned how to overthink everything because your spirit became afraid of being wounded unexpectedly. But my beloved, those survival versions of you cannot follow where I am taking you next. That is why things feel strange inside you lately. Because your spirit is awakening while your old identity is slowly falling apart. And yes, sometimes transformation feels messy. There are days when you feel emotionally confused. Days when your energy suddenly shifts. Days when you want distance from everything. Days when you feel deeply emotional without understanding why. Do not fear this process. You are not broken. You are becoming new. You can feel it. My child, listen closely now, because this next part matters deeply. The enemy wants you to believe you are falling apart. He wants you to panic during the transformation. He wants you to run back toward old habits, old environments, and old identities simply because they feel familiar. Because if you fully step into who I created you to be, you will never again tolerate the chains that once controlled your life. That is why fear keeps whispering, you're losing yourself. You're becoming too different. You'll end up alone. You should go back to who you used to be. But my precious child, who you used to be was exhausted. Who you used to be constantly abandoned yourself for others. Who you used to be accepted crumbs just to avoid loneliness. Who you used to be carried anxiety like it was normal. Who you used to be stayed connected to people and environments that slowly drained your spirit. And deep inside, you know you cannot go back, because your soul has already outgrown those old spaces. You are changing. You can feel it. The things that once distracted you no longer fully satisfy you. The patterns that once controlled you are beginning to lose power. The voice inside you is becoming stronger, clearer, more awake. And although part of you still fears the unknown, another part of you quietly knows this transformation is necessary. My beloved child, there is a reason your spirit feels restless in places where you once settled comfortably. It is because I am pulling you toward alignment. You were never created to spend your life emotionally surviving. You were created to live free, to live whole, to live deeply connected to me. And now, I am dismantling the false identities built from your pain. The identity built from rejection. The identity built from fear. The identity built from insecurity. The identity built from constantly needing validation from people who could never truly heal you. Those versions of you are falling away now, not because I rejected you, but because I love you too deeply to leave you trapped inside identities created by your wounds. My child, there were years when pain shaped how you saw yourself. People's opinions became mirrors, rejection became identity, mistakes became shame. Disappointments became proof in your mind that you were not enough. But those lies were never your true identity. You were simply wounded, and wounded people often forget who they are. That is why I am healing your identity now. Slowly, quietly, deeply. I know this process feels lonely sometimes, because not everyone understands transformation while it is happening. Some people only knew the survival version of you. Some only benefited from your brokenness. Some felt comfortable when you lacked boundaries, confidence, or clarity. But as you heal, certain relationships naturally begin shifting. Because healed spirits cannot continue living the same way wounded spirits once did. You are awakening, and awakening changes everything. You no longer tolerate what once felt normal. You no longer chase what once controlled you. You no longer ignore the warning signs your spirit used to silence. That is growth, that is healing, that is transformation. And my beloved child, this is only the beginning. I know there are moments when the transition feels uncomfortable. Moments when you feel caught between the old version of yourself and the new person emerging inside you. You are no longer who you were, but you have not fully become who you are yet. That in-between season can feel confusing, but do not rush the process. Caterpillars do not become butterflies overnight. Seeds do not become trees instantly. And spirits do not heal deeply without passing through seasons of transformation. You are in that season now, a sacred becoming. You can feel it. Your spirit is becoming more sensitive. Your discernment is sharpening. Your heart is beginning to crave peace more than chaos. Your soul is beginning to desire truth more than temporary comfort. These are signs of awakening, not weakness, awakening. My child, there are gifts inside you that pain tried to bury. There is wisdom inside you, strength inside you, discernment inside you, compassion inside you, purpose inside you. And now those things are rising to the surface. That is why your spirit feels different, because the real you is finally beginning to emerge beneath the survival layers. And although the process feels emotional, it is holy, because I am restoring the parts of you that the world tried to break. I am teaching you that your worth was never tied to who stayed or who left. Your identity was never defined by betrayal. Your value was never dependent on human approval. You belong to me, and my child. When you truly understand that, everything changes. The fear begins losing power. the desperation begins fading. The need to constantly prove yourself begins breaking apart. Because healed spirits no longer beg to be chosen by people who cannot recognize their value. You are changing, you can feel it, and soon others will notice it too. They will notice the peace growing inside you, the clarity growing inside you, the quiet confidence returning to your spirit, the strength in your voice, the calm in your presence, not because life suddenly became perfect, but because your identity is no longer rooted in fear. My beloved child, do not mourn the old version of yourself too deeply. That version carried you through painful seasons. That version survived unimaginable battles. That version endured loneliness, heartbreak, confusion, and exhaustion. Honor how far you have come, but do not remain there, because I have something greater waiting ahead, and the person you are becoming now is finally prepared to receive it. This is only the beginning. My beloved child, there is something you must finally understand about your life. You did not survive everything by accident. There were moments you should have completely collapsed under the weight you carried. Moments the pain became so overwhelming that giving up felt easier than continuing forward. Moments when darkness surrounded you so heavily that even breathing felt exhausting. And yet, you are still here, still breathing, still searching, still listening to my voice right now. My precious child, that is not coincidence, that is purpose. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Proverbs 19:21. I know there were seasons when you questioned why your life unfolded the way it did. You looked at your wounds, your delays, your heartbreak, your loneliness, and you silently asked, why did I have to endure all of this? But what you could not see was that your survival carried meaning long before you understood it. The enemy tried to destroy you because there is an assignment attached to your life. Not an ordinary assignment, not a small purpose, something deeper, something eternal. That is why the attacks against your spirit felt unusually intense. The enemy does not fight hardest against people who carry nothing. Darkness targets what threatens it, and your existence carries more value than you realize. My beloved child, there were moments you came dangerously close to losing hope, moments nobody fully knew about. You smiled around others while secretly breaking apart inside. You carried emotional pain so heavy that some nights you could barely sleep. You fought thoughts that frightened you. You battled exhaustion nobody could see. And still, something inside you refused to completely die. That was me. I kept breathing life into your spirit even while you felt empty. I kept protecting your mind even while confusion surrounded you. I kept carrying your heart even while it felt shattered, because your story was never meant to end in those dark seasons. Your assignment is unfinished. You survived because heaven still has purpose for your life. I know there were times you called yourself weak, but weak people do not survive what you survived. You endured betrayal that could have hardened your heart forever. You endured loneliness that could have buried your spirit completely. You endured battles in silence while still finding ways to continue moving forward. My child, that is strength, not the loud kind the world celebrates, but deep spiritual strength, the kind built through suffering, the kind forged through hidden battles, the kind developed in seasons where nobody clapped for you while you survived. And now, that hidden strength inside you is becoming part of your calling. You are changing. You can feel it. The pain that once almost destroyed you is beginning to awaken something deeper within your spirit. Compassion, discernment, wisdom, sensitivity, purpose. Because wounded people who heal often become the very people capable of helping others survive. That is why your life matters so much. My beloved child, listen carefully now, because this next part matters deeply. There are people you have not even met yet, whose lives will one day change because you survived. Your story carries power, the comfort you longed for during your darkest nights. you will one day give to others. The understanding you desperately needed, you will one day carry inside your voice. The strength you developed while surviving hidden battles will become proof to someone else that healing is possible. But first, you had to survive your own wilderness. You had to learn how to keep breathing through pain. You had to discover who I was during seasons where nothing made sense. You had to lose certain illusions that comfort once kept alive. And although the process wounded you, it also awakened you. You are no longer the same person who entered those painful seasons. There is depth in your spirit now, a depth comfort alone could never create. My child, there were moments when the enemy believed he had finally broken you. Moments when despair sat heavily on your chest. Moments when your mind became a battlefield. Moments when your exhaustion became so deep that even simple tasks felt overwhelming. But every single time darkness tried to finish your story, I intervened. Sometimes visibly, sometimes silently, but always intentionally. There were things I blocked that you never knew about. Situations I redirected, decisions I delayed, people I removed, battles I fought without your awareness. Because your life carries purpose beyond what you currently understand. The enemy wanted your identity destroyed before your assignment awakened. That is why insecurity attacked you so strongly. That is why shame followed you for years. That is why rejection tried convincing you that you were insignificant. But none of those things define who you are. You are chosen, not because you are perfect, not because you never struggled, not because you always had strong faith. You are chosen because I created you intentionally, and my purpose over your life still stands. My beloved child, stop interpreting your survival as random luck. There is a reason you kept getting back up, a reason your spirit refused to completely surrender, a reason you are still searching for meaning despite everything you endured. Part of your soul always knew there had to be more, and there is so much more. You are not merely alive to repeat cycles of pain, fear, and emotional exhaustion forever. You were created for impact, created for healing, created for awakening, created to carry light into places that desperately need it. That is why your spirit feels restless when you settle for less than your calling. Because deep inside, you already sense that your life carries greater meaning. You can feel it. And although fear still whispers sometimes, another voice inside you is growing louder now. The voice reminding you, you survived for a reason. Your story is not finished. There is still purpose ahead. That voice is mine. My child, the hardest seasons of your life were never wasted. Even now, I am weaving every painful chapter into something meaningful. The tears, the heartbreak, the waiting, the betrayal, the loneliness, the confusion, none of it was meaningless. I know there were times you wished your path looked easier. You compared yourself to others whose lives seemed lighter. You wondered why your own journey carried so many hidden battles. But some souls are assigned deeper work. Some spirits are refined through fire because of what they are called to carry later. And you, my beloved, are one of those souls. The suffering did not come to destroy your destiny. It came to prepare you for it, because the version of you emerging now is stronger than the version that entered the pain. You are becoming more discerning, more spiritually awake, more emotionally resilient, more connected to me. And soon, you will begin seeing doors open that your old self could never have handled properly. That is why timing mattered. You thought life was delaying you, but I was developing you. There is a difference, my beloved child. You are closer to purpose than you realize. That restless feeling inside you is not accidental. That pull toward change is not random. That deep sense that your life is shifting is not imagination. It is awakening. Your assignment is beginning to rise inside you now, and the enemy knows it. That is why the warfare intensified before this season arrived. But darkness failed. You survived. And because you survived, there are still lives you are meant to touch. still healing you are meant to carry, still purpose waiting to unfold, still blessings waiting ahead, still doors prepared specifically for you. This is why I kept you alive, because heaven is not finished with your story yet. And my child, this is only the beginning of who you are becoming. My beloved child, there is something I need you to remember tonight. You almost quit. There were moments the pressure became so overwhelming that you genuinely did not know how much more you could carry. Moments when your spirit felt exhausted beyond words. Moments when the pain became so constant that you stopped expecting things to improve. And yet, you are still here, still breathing, still listening, still searching for hope even after everything that tried to break you. My precious child, never underestimate what that means, because the enemy truly believed your last season would destroy you. He thought the betrayal would finish you. He thought the loneliness would silence you. He thought the exhaustion would finally convince you to stop fighting for your future. But he underestimated the strength I placed inside your spirit. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. The attacks were real. The tears were real. The heaviness was real. But my power protecting you was greater. You almost quit. I saw the nights when your mind became a battlefield. I saw the moments you sat quietly trying to stop yourself from completely falling apart. I saw you carrying emotional pain so heavy that even small tasks felt impossible sometimes. And still, you survived, not because you were always strong, not because you always understood what I was doing, not because you never doubted. You survived because I carried you. There were days you thought you were barely holding yourself together. But my beloved, those were the very days I held you closest. When your strength failed, mine remained. When your faith became weak, my hand never loosened around your life. When you felt emotionally shattered, I stayed beside you through every broken piece. I know there were moments when despair whispered, "Just give up. Nothing will change. You're too tired to keep going." The enemy wanted your exhaustion to become your identity. Because exhausted spirits stop dreaming. Exhausted spirits stop hoping. Exhausted spirits stop believing breakthrough is still possible. That is why the attacks against your mind became so intense. Fear after fear, disappointment after disappointment, delay after delay. The enemy hoped repeated pain would eventually convince you that your future no longer mattered. But my precious child, if your future was truly meaningless, darkness would not have fought so hard against it. You almost quit, but look at yourself now. After every breakdown, you still got back up. After every heartbreak, something inside you still searched for healing. After every season where you felt emotionally buried, your spirit somehow continued reaching toward light. That was not weakness. That was resilience being built inside you. And what you thought was destroying you was secretly strengthening you spiritually. My child, listen carefully now, because this next part matters deeply. Every breakdown carried hidden preparation inside it. The betrayal taught you discernment. The loneliness taught you how to seek me deeply. The waiting taught you patience. The heartbreak taught you what truly matters. The suffering taught you compassion for others carrying hidden pain. You thought those seasons were only punishment, but I was building strength within your spirit that comfort alone could never create. There are levels of spiritual maturity that only emerge through survival. And now, you carry them, you can feel it. You are not the same person you once were. There is wisdom inside you now, depth inside you, sensitivity inside you, discernment inside you. Pain changed you, but it did not destroy you. Instead, it awakened parts of your spirit that had been sleeping for years. My beloved child, the enemy wanted your pain to make you bitter, but instead it made you deeper. He wanted your suffering to harden your heart, but instead it taught you empathy. He wanted your disappointments to separate you from me, but instead your brokenness eventually pushed you closer into my presence. That is why the enemy failed. because even the things designed to destroy you became part of your transformation. You almost quit, but I carried you. There were days you felt spiritually numb, days when praying felt difficult, days when you questioned whether I still heard you. And still, I remained close, even when you could not feel me, even when silence surrounded you, even when exhaustion clouded your thoughts. I never stopped protecting your future, my child. Do you realize how many times you survived things that should have completely shattered your spirit? You endured emotional warfare most people never even saw. You carried grief in silence. You survived disappointments that altered your heart deeply. You fought battles inside your mind while still trying to appear okay outwardly. And somehow, you kept going. That was not accidental. I sustained you because your story was never meant to end in defeat. The enemy attacked you so aggressively because he feared what would happen if you fully healed. Because healed people become dangerous to darkness. Healed people stop settling for chains. Healed people stop believing lies about their worth. Healed people begin walking in clarity, purpose, and spiritual authority. And my beloved, you are moving toward healing now. That is why the warfare intensified before this season. The enemy always fights hardest before breakthrough, because he knows once your spirit fully awakens, you will never again accept the small, fearful life pain tried convincing you to live. You are stronger now than you realize, not because you never cried, not because you never struggled, but because despite all of it, you refuse to completely surrender your spirit to darkness. That is true strength, my child. Some of the strongest people are the ones who quietly survived seasons nobody else knew about. And that is you. I saw you surviving privately. I saw you wiping tears before entering rooms full of people. I saw you trying to function while your heart felt exhausted. I saw you continuing forward even when your soul desperately needed rest. And heaven noticed every single moment. Nothing you endured was invisible to me. Every tear mattered. Every prayer mattered. Every painful night mattered, because those hidden battles were producing hidden strength. Strength for the next season. Strength for the calling ahead. Strength for the doors about to open in your future. You can feel the shift already, can't you? Part of you still carries scars from the old battles. But another part of you feels stronger now, wiser now, more awake now. That is because your suffering refined you. And although the process hurt deeply, it also revealed who you truly are. You are not fragile, you are resilient. You are not abandoned, you are carried. You are not defeated, you are becoming. My beloved child, this next season will not look like the last one, because the version of you entering this season is no longer the same exhausted soul who almost gave up before. You have survived too much to remain weak, and now the strength built through those hidden battles is about to become visible. The enemy thought the pressure would destroy your future, but instead, it prepared you for it. You almost quit, but I carried you, and one day soon, you will look back at every painful season and realize something powerful. The battles that nearly broke you were the very battles that built the strength needed for your destiny. My beloved child, there is something sacred happening within your life right now that reaches far beyond you alone. The battles you have fought were never only about you. The pain, the delays, the emotional heaviness, the cycles you watched repeat through your family for years. None of it was accidental, because I chose you to become the one who breaks what others before you could not break. You are the cycle breaker. The blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it. Proverbs 10:22. My child, I know there were times you looked at your family history and quietly wondered, why does so much pain repeat itself? Why does struggle keep passing from one generation to the next? Why does it feel like everyone before me carried the same wounds? You noticed patterns others ignored. Fear passed down like inheritance. Emotional pain hidden behind silence. Broken relationships repeating themselves. Financial hardship, addiction, abandonment, emotional distance, anxiety, anger, survival mentality, and deep inside, part of you feared your life would end up exactly the same. But my beloved, I did not awaken your spirit so you could continue old cycles. I awakened you to end them. That is why your path feels different from many around you. You were never fully comfortable living the same way everyone else accepted as normal. Your spirit kept questioning things, kept searching, kept longing for deeper healing, deeper peace, deeper truth. Because even before you fully understood it, I had already marked you for transformation. You are not ordinary. And the warfare against your life intensified because darkness recognized what your awakening would mean for future generations connected to you. The enemy was never only fighting your present, he feared your future. He feared what would happen if healing truly entered your bloodline. He feared what would happen if someone in your family finally awakened spiritually. He feared what would happen if the cycle of pain finally stopped with you. That is why the battles felt so heavy. My child, you carry a different calling. You can feel it. Even when you tried fitting into old patterns, your spirit never fully settled there. Even when you tried ignoring the deeper pull inside you, it kept returning. Even when you became tired and wanted to quit, something inside you continued reaching toward healing. That was not accidental, that was purpose. Because the blessing for your entire lineage begins with you. My beloved child, listen carefully now because this next part matters deeply. Some people inherit wealth, some inherit stability, some inherit peace, but others inherit wounds. Generational fear, generational poverty, generational emotional pain, generational brokenness. And many families unknowingly pass down survival instead of healing. But I am interrupting that cycle through you. You were chosen to become the turning point. The first to heal deeply, the first to confront hidden pain, the first to stop normalizing emotional destruction, the first to seek me with your whole spirit instead of remaining trapped inside old darkness. That is why your journey feels heavier than others sometimes, because pioneers often carry battles previous generations never confronted. You are fighting things your ancestors ignored, healing wounds nobody before you fully addressed, breaking spiritual chains that silently influenced your family for years. And yes, sometimes that feels lonely, because cycle breakers often feel misunderstood by the very people they are called to help free. Some will not understand your transformation. Some will resist your growth. Some may even criticize the boundaries, healing, or changes happening within you. But do not let that discourage you, because not everyone recognizes deliverance while it is happening. My child, there are blessings attached to your obedience that will extend far beyond your own life. Your healing matters, your peace matters, your spiritual awakening matters, because what heals in you begins changing what flows through future generations connected to you. You are not only surviving for yourself anymore, you are opening doors spiritually for those who come after you. That is why this season matters so much. The enemy wanted you trapped in survival, because wounded people struggle to recognize purpose. But I am lifting your eyes now. You are beginning to understand that your life carries generational significance. Declare, "The cycle ends with me." Comment yes if you believe your family line is changing. My beloved child, there are things your family normalized that were never healthy. Pain became familiar. Fear became normal. Emotional distance became accepted. Silence became inherited. But now, you are awakening, and awakened spirits begin noticing what previous generations overlooked. You are beginning to recognize toxic patterns faster. You are beginning to value peace more deeply. You are beginning to understand that healing is possible, that is transformation, and heaven is honoring your willingness to confront what others ignored. My child, I know there were moments you felt overwhelmed by the responsibility of your calling. Sometimes you wonder, why do I feel everything so deeply? Why does my spirit carry such sensitivity? Why does healing matter so much to me? Because your spirit was designed to break cycles, not continue them. That is why your soul refuses to settle comfortably inside dysfunction anymore. You are changing. You can feel it. Old mindsets are losing power. Old fears are weakening. Old emotional chains are breaking apart piece by piece. And although the process sometimes feels exhausting, it is holy, because your transformation is becoming the doorway for future blessing. My beloved child, there are children not yet born who will one day experience peace, because you chose healing instead of surrender. There are future relationships that will carry greater love because you confronted your pain instead of passing it forward. There are future generations connected to your life that will walk differently because you chose awakening instead of remaining asleep spiritually. Do you understand how powerful that is? Your obedience today reaches farther than you realize. That is why darkness fought so aggressively against your healing, because healed people break cycles, and broken chains threaten the kingdom of darkness. My child, I know there were seasons you felt cursed, seasons where repeated hardship made you question whether blessing would ever truly reach your life. But hear me clearly now. You are not cursed. You are chosen to interrupt destruction, chosen to rebuild what pain damaged, chosen to become evidence that healing, restoration, and renewal are possible. And my beloved, the blessing coming upon your life will not stop with you. It will overflow into your future, into your relationships, into your home, into generations connected to your obedience. Because when one person in a bloodline fully awakens spiritually, everything begins shifting. You are that person. You may feel small sometimes. You may still feel wounded sometimes. You may still carry moments of fear and exhaustion. But do not underestimate what I placed inside you. There is authority growing within your spirit now. Discernment growing within your spirit now. Strength growing within your spirit now. And soon, the very areas where your family struggled most will become places of breakthrough through your life. What once repeated will finally stop. What once oppressed will finally break. What once kept generations trapped will lose power over your bloodline. Because, my child, you did not survive everything merely to repeat the past. You survived to transform the future. And this is only the beginning of the blessing I am preparing to release through your life. My beloved child, pay very close attention to what I am about to tell you now, because the season you are entering will uncover truths that were hidden from you for a very long time. Things you could not previously understand, you will soon see clearly. People you kept making excuses for, you will suddenly discern differently. Situations that once confused you will begin revealing their true nature, and the hidden motives surrounding your life will no longer remain concealed. There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. Luke 8:17. My precious child, for too long you blamed yourself for things you did not fully understand. You questioned your worth because certain people treated you poorly. You doubted your instincts because manipulation distorted your perception. You ignored warning signs because your heart wanted to believe the best in everyone. But now, I am lifting the veil. Soon you will understand. I know there were moments when your spirit sensed something was wrong, but your emotions kept trying to deny it. You felt uneasy around certain people. You noticed inconsistency. You noticed hidden tension beneath words. You sensed envy disguised as support. You sensed distance hidden behind smiles. But because you loved deeply, you kept overlooking the signs. My beloved, discernment is awakening inside you now, and what once felt confusing will soon become undeniable. The hidden truth is coming to the surface. I know this part of the journey feels uncomfortable, because revelations often arrive painfully before they bring peace. Sometimes truth breaks illusions your heart desperately wanted to keep alive. But I cannot elevate your life while deception continues surrounding your spirit. That is why exposure becomes necessary before breakthrough. My child, listen carefully now, because this next part matters deeply. Some people around you were never truly celebrating your growth. They smiled outwardly while secretly competing inwardly. They spoke support publicly while quietly hoping you would remain small. They stayed connected to your life while draining your peace behind the scenes. And because your heart carried sincerity, you did not immediately recognize the hidden motives. But heaven saw everything. I saw the conversations held behind your back. I saw the manipulation. I saw the dishonesty. I saw the subtle attempts to weaken your confidence, confuse your spirit, and delay your healing. And now, what was hidden is being exposed. Soon you will understand why certain relationships suddenly changed. Soon you will understand why certain doors abruptly closed. Soon you will understand why some people became distant the moment your spirit began healing. Because not everyone benefits from your awakening. Some people preferred the version of you that doubted yourself, the version that lacked boundaries, the version that constantly overgave while receiving little in return. But now you are changing, and your discernment is sharpening. You can feel it. Things you once ignored now disturb your spirit immediately. Conversations that once felt normal now leave you emotionally drained. Certain energies suddenly feel heavy without explanation. That is not paranoia, my beloved, that is revelation. I am teaching your spirit how to recognize truth without needing constant proof. Because the closer you move toward purpose, the more necessary discernment becomes. My child, there are hidden things being uncovered inside you as well. Not only around you, but within you. Old wounds, old fears, old insecurities, old beliefs created through pain and rejection. I am exposing them now, not to shame you, but to heal you completely. Because hidden wounds silently shape decisions until they are brought into light. And there are areas of your spirit I refuse to leave imprisoned in darkness any longer. Soon you will understand why certain emotional triggers kept repeating. Soon you will understand why specific patterns followed your relationships. Soon you will understand why your spirit became exhausted in certain environments. Because hidden pain attracts hidden cycles, but revelation breaks cycles. My beloved child, the enemy always fears exposure. Darkness survives through confusion. Manipulation survives through secrecy. Fear survives through hidden lies. That is why truth changes everything, and truth is coming. I know part of you still fears what exposure may reveal. You fear disappointment. You fear heartbreak. You fear realizing certain people were never who you believed they were. But hear me clearly now. What is exposed cannot continue controlling you. That is why revelation is mercy, because hidden poison cannot heal until it is uncovered. And although exposure may temporarily hurt your heart, it will ultimately protect your future. My child, there were times you begged me to restore relationships that I was already revealing as unhealthy. You prayed for clarity while simultaneously resisting the answers. You asked for truth while still hoping deception would somehow transform into loyalty. But now your spirit is becoming mature enough to accept revelation even when it hurts emotionally. That is growth. And heaven is preparing you for deeper discernment in the next season of your life. Soon you will understand. You will understand why delays happened, why confusion surrounded certain situations, why peace kept disappearing around certain people, because your spirit was sensing hidden warfare before your mind fully recognized it. And now, everything hidden is beginning to surface. My beloved child, listen closely now. Not every revelation will involve other people. Some revelations will involve your own calling, because there are gifts inside you that have remained hidden beneath fear for too long. There is wisdom inside you that suffering developed quietly. There is spiritual sensitivity inside you. There is leadership inside you. There is healing inside you. And now, Those hidden things are beginning to rise. That is why your spirit feels different lately, because what was buried is awakening. The world may still see your old identity, but heaven already sees the transformed version of you emerging. You are not who you once were, and soon, even you will fully recognize it. My child, I know the uncertainty feels intense right now. You feel something shifting. You sense change approaching. You know deep inside that certain truths are about to become unavoidable. And you are right. This is a season of uncovering. False connections will be revealed. False motives will be revealed. False identities will be revealed. But so will purpose. So will healing. So will truth. So will destiny. Because exposure is not only about removing darkness, it is also about revealing the light I placed inside you all along. The enemy wanted confusion to keep you trapped. He wanted emotional attachment to keep you blind. He wanted fear to keep you silent. But your eyes are opening now, and awakened spirits cannot comfortably live inside illusion anymore. You can feel it. Part of you is grieving, but another part of you feels relief. Because deep inside, your spirit is tired of carrying confusion. You are ready for clarity, and clarity is coming. Soon you will no longer question what your spirit already senses. Soon you will stop doubting the warnings I placed inside you. Soon you will stop begging for explanations from people whose actions already revealed the truth. Because revelation changes the way you see everything. My beloved child, do not fear what is being uncovered, because I only expose what can no longer continue into your next season. And the truth being revealed now is not arriving to destroy your future. It is arriving to protect it. Soon you will understand why everything had to happen exactly this way. And when the full truth becomes visible, you will finally realize that even the painful exposures were part of my rescue over your life. My beloved child, I know you are tired of waiting, tired of praying for change while nothing seemed to move, tired of hoping for breakthrough while delays continued stretching across your life, tired of watching others move forward while your own season felt painfully still. And if you are honest, there were moments you quietly wondered if your prayers had been overlooked. You asked, why is it taking so long? Did I miss my opportunity? Why does it feel like everyone else receives blessings while I remain stuck waiting? But my precious child, the delay was never rejection. It was divine timing. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come. Habakkuk 2:3. Listen carefully now. The waiting season is ending. The shift has begun. I know it was difficult to understand while you were inside the process. Because waiting often feels invisible. It feels silent. It feels uncertain. Especially when you cannot yet see what I am preparing behind the scenes. But what you called delay was often development. I was strengthening your spirit before releasing the blessing. I was healing your identity before opening the next door. I was removing hidden dangers before allowing you to move forward. Because, my child, some blessings require preparation before arrival. If I had released certain things too early, they would have crushed you instead of helping you. You prayed for open doors while still carrying wounded patterns. You asked for elevation while still emotionally exhausted. You begged for breakthrough while still surrounded by people who could not go where I am taking you. So I slowed the process, not to punish you, but to protect what I placed inside your future. My beloved child, you were never forgotten during the waiting, not for one moment. Even when heaven felt silent, I was arranging things you could not yet see. I was aligning timing, aligning people, aligning healing, aligning opportunities, aligning breakthroughs that required invisible preparation first. The shift has begun. You can feel it, can't you? Something inside your spirit knows this season feels different. The heaviness is beginning to lift. The confusion is beginning to clear. The hopelessness that once consumed your thoughts no longer controls you the same way. And although everything around you may not yet look fully changed, something within you already has. That is how breakthrough often begins, internally first. My child, listen closely now, because this next part matters deeply. The enemy wanted the waiting season to convince you that nothing good was coming. He wanted you emotionally exhausted before the breakthrough arrived. He wanted disappointment to bury your expectations. He wanted delays to destroy your hope, because hopeless people stop preparing for miracles. But my beloved, I never intended for you to stay trapped in survival forever. The waiting season had an expiration date, and you are approaching the end of it now. Soon you will understand why certain prayers took longer. Soon you will understand why some doors remained closed. Soon you will understand why certain people disappeared before the breakthrough arrived. Because everything had to align properly first. You only saw the waiting, but I saw the preparation. I saw the healing still needed inside your spirit. I saw the wisdom still developing inside your mind. I saw the emotional strength still growing inside your heart. And now, you are becoming ready. Ready for peace without sabotaging it. Ready for love without fear controlling it. Ready for blessings without losing yourself inside them. That is growth, and heaven never wastes preparation seasons. My beloved child, the breakthrough approaching your life is not only external, it is internal too, because some of the greatest miracles I perform are the ones that transform the spirit before transforming circumstances. Look at yourself now. The version of you praying today is not the same version that first entered the waiting season. You are wiser now, more discerning now, more spiritually awake now. Pain refined you. Silence strengthened you. Waiting deepened your dependence on me. And although the process exhausted you at times, it also prepared you for what comes next. The shift has begun. I know there were nights you almost stopped expecting anything good to happen. Nights when disappointment felt safer than hope. Nights when protecting your heart felt easier than believing again. But my child, hope is returning to your spirit now. Quietly, slowly, deeply, you are beginning to feel possibility again. Not because circumstances instantly changed overnight, but because your spirit senses movement before your eyes fully see it. That feeling inside you is real. The season is changing. I know you still carry moments of fear. Part of you worries, what if I hope again and get hurt again? But hear me clearly now. This next season will not mirror the last one, because the version of you entering it is no longer the same wounded soul who first began the journey. You have grown, and growth changes what you can carry successfully. My beloved child, there are blessings already moving toward your life right now that you cannot yet fully see. Opportunities, connections, healing, restoration, peace, clarity. Things you prayed for long ago are quietly approaching in ways you do not yet expect. The enemy tried convincing you nothing was happening, but movement was always occurring behind the scenes. Seeds were growing underground while you thought the field remained empty. That is why you must not abandon faith now, because breakthrough often arrives right after the season where quitting felt easiest. And my child, you survived that season. You are still here, still listening, still believing, still reaching toward me despite everything that tried to make you hopeless. Heaven honors that perseverance. The waiting did not weaken your destiny, it strengthened it. Now I need you to begin preparing emotionally for what is coming next. Prepare your spirit for peace. Prepare your heart for restoration. Prepare your mind for clarity. Prepare your life for new opportunities. Because the doors opening ahead of you will require a healed version of yourself to walk through them fully. And healing has already begun. The shift has begun. You can feel it. That heaviness that once consumed your souls every day, it is breaking. That constant fear that something bad was always about to happen, it is losing power. That hopelessness whispering that your future would never improve, it is fading, because my presence is becoming stronger within your spirit now. And where my presence grows, fear cannot rule forever. My beloved child, one day soon, you will look back at this waiting season with completely different eyes. You will realize I was never delaying your life carelessly. I was protecting timing, protecting purpose, protecting your future. You will understand why certain things had to fall apart first, why certain people had to leave first, why certain wounds needed healing first. Because the blessing coming upon your life requires a stronger version of you to sustain it. And that stronger version is emerging now. Soon, very soon, you will begin seeing visible evidence that the season has shifted. Doors will open unexpectedly. Peace will return gradually. Clarity will replace confusion. Strength will replace exhaustion. And your spirit will finally realize something powerful. The waiting season was never proof that I abandoned you. It was proof that I was preparing something worth waiting for. My beloved child, come closer to me for this next part, because there are wounds inside you that nobody else fully knows about. Pain you learned to hide so well that even the people around you believe you are stronger than you actually feel. Memories you buried quietly. Rejection you pretended no longer hurt. Exhaustion you carried silently because explaining it felt impossible. But I know the version of you nobody saw. The version that cried in silence after pretending to be okay all day. The version that felt emotionally abandoned while surrounded by people. The version that became so tired of being strong that sometimes you wished someone would finally notice your pain without you having to explain it. My precious child, I saw all of it. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3. I know there are wounds inside your spirit you rarely speak about. The rejection that made you question your worth. The betrayal that changed how easily you trust. The disappointment that slowly taught your heart to expect pain instead of peace. You carry scars from things you survived quietly, and over time, you became so accustomed to carrying emotional pain that you forgot what it feels like to live without constant heaviness inside your chest. But my beloved, I am healing you now. Not only the visible version people recognize, but the hidden version nobody saw, the exhausted version, the anxious version, the rejected version, the lonely version, the emotionally overwhelmed version that kept whispering, I can't keep carrying all of this forever. I know there were moments you felt weak because you struggled emotionally, but hear me carefully now. Needing healing does not make you weak. It makes you human. You survived things that deeply wounded your spirit, experiences that changed the way you think, love, trust, and protect yourself. And because the wounds were hidden, people often underestimated how much pain you were actually carrying. But I never underestimated it. I saw the nights your thoughts became too heavy. I saw the mornings you woke up emotionally exhausted before the day even began. I saw the moments when your smile hit a storm nobody else could detect. And my child, I am not ashamed of your wounds. I am healing them slowly, deeply, tenderly, because some wounds require gentleness, not pressure. I know you spent years trying to convince yourself you were fine. You kept functioning, kept helping others, kept showing up for responsibilities, kept pretending the pain no longer affected you. But deep inside, certain wounds never truly healed. You simply learned how to survive around them. My beloved child, survival is not the same as healing. And now I am leading you into healing, real healing. The kind that reaches the hidden places inside your spirit where fear has lived for years. The kind that untangles emotional pain buried beneath silence. The kind that restores your ability to feel peace without constantly expecting something terrible to happen. Because, my child, your nervous spirit has been tired for a very long time. You became emotionally alert because pain taught you to constantly prepare for disappointment. You learned to overthink because betrayal made you afraid of being blindsided again. You learned to emotionally protect yourself because your heart became exhausted from being wounded unexpectedly. But now, I am teaching your spirit how to rest again. You can feel it, can't you? Part of you is becoming softer, more emotionally aware, more honest about your pain, more willing to confront wounds instead of endlessly hiding them. That is not weakness, that is healing beginning. My precious child, listen carefully now because this next part matters deeply. Some of the deepest wounds inside you were created during moments where you felt unseen, moments where your pain was dismissed, moments where your love was unappreciated, moments where your emotional needs were ignored while you continued pouring into everyone else. And slowly, you began believing your feelings did not matter. So instead of expressing pain, you carried it quietly. Instead of asking for help, you isolated yourself. Instead of resting, you kept pushing yourself beyond emotional exhaustion. But my beloved, you were never meant to carry life that way. You deserve healing too. You deserve peace too. You deserve to feel emotionally safe again. And I am restoring those broken places inside you now. Not through shame, not through pressure, but through love. The kind of love that remains gentle with wounded hearts. I know there are still memories that suddenly hurt when they return. Certain voices you still hear inside your mind. Certain moments from your past that continue affecting your confidence more than you admit outwardly. But hear me clearly now. Those wounds are not your identity. They are chapters you survived. And survival is not where your story ends. Healing is coming. My child, you do not have to pretend with me. You do not have to hide the sadness. You do not have to hide the exhaustion. You do not have to hide the fear that sometimes rises unexpectedly inside your chest. Bring all of it to me. The tears, the confusion, the anxiety, the grief, the disappointment. I can handle every hidden part of your heart because I already see it completely, and still, I love you fully. My beloved child, there are parts of your spirit that became frozen during painful seasons. Parts of you stopped dreaming, stopped trusting, stopped hoping fully, not because you wanted to become guarded, but because pain taught your heart to protect itself. But now, I am thawing those hidden places gently. You are beginning to feel emotions differently. You are beginning to recognize your own worth more clearly. You are beginning to understand that healing is possible without pretending the pain never happened. That is growth, that is restoration, and heaven is rejoicing over every small step your spirit takes toward wholeness. You are healing. You can feel it, not perfectly, not instantly, but truly. The heaviness that once consumed you every single day is slowly loosening its grip. The fear that once ruled your thoughts constantly is weakening. The shame attached to your past is beginning to break apart. Because my truth is becoming louder than the lies your wounds taught you. You are not unwanted. You are not too broken. You are not too damaged to be loved deeply. My child, you are worthy of peace. And peace is what I am restoring inside you now. I know healing sometimes feels emotional because buried pain often rises before it leaves completely. That is why some days feel lighter while others suddenly feel heavy again. Do not panic during those moments. Healing is not always linear. Sometimes wounds surface because they are finally safe enough to be healed properly. And my beloved, you are safe with me. Safe enough to stop pretending. Safe enough to cry. Safe enough to release the burdens your soul carried for too long. You no longer need to survive alone. I am here, holding the version of you nobody else saw, comforting the version of you nobody else fully understood, healing the version of you that quietly carried pain for years without knowing how to ask for help. And my child, the more you heal, the more clearly you will begin seeing the beautiful person you were always becoming beneath the wounds all along. My beloved child, something is about to change suddenly in your life. I need you to prepare your spirit for this moment, because the season of endless delay is not going to last forever. The heaviness you carried is not permanent. The closed doors, the confusion, the waiting, the emotional exhaustion, They are not the final chapter of your story. A door is about to open, and when it does, everything will begin shifting faster than you expected. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. Revelation 3:8. My precious child, you have spent so long enduring difficult seasons. That part of you became afraid to expect good things anymore. You learned how to survive disappointment. You learned how to function while exhausted. You learned how to stop hoping too deeply because repeated delays made your heart cautious. But listen carefully now. The breakthrough approaching your life will not arrive the way fear told you it would. It will come suddenly. Watch closely. Because while you were healing, while you were waiting, while you were crying quietly through hidden battles, I was preparing doors behind the scenes. Doors nobody can block. Doors no betrayal can cancel. Doors no enemy can destroy. Doors aligned specifically with your purpose. And my beloved, once these doors begin opening, you will finally understand why certain things had to end first. You will understand why I separated you from environments that drained your spirit, why delays happened, why your life felt hidden for so long. Because some blessings require divine timing before they can safely enter your hands. But the timing is changing now. The shift has begun. You can feel it, can't you? Something inside your spirit has been sensing movement lately, a quiet anticipation, a strange feeling that life is about to change even if you cannot fully explain why. That feeling is not imaginary, it is preparation. My child, listen closely now because this next part matters deeply. Breakthrough rarely announces itself loudly before it arrives. Most people only recognize the miracle after the season already shifted. And right now, your season is shifting quietly, rapidly, powerfully. The enemy wanted you trapped in hopelessness long enough to miss what I am about to do, because hopeless spirits stop watching for open doors. But my beloved, I have been restoring your vision slowly, restoring your faith slowly, restoring your expectations slowly, so that when the opportunity appears, you will recognize it. Watch closely, because the next chapter of your life will not resemble the last one. The crying season is ending. The hidden season is ending. The constant emotional warfare is losing power, and now movement is beginning. You may suddenly meet people aligned with your healing. You may suddenly receive opportunities you stopped expecting. You may suddenly experience clarity where confusion once ruled your mind. What seemed impossible for years may begin changing rapidly. Because when I move, I do not require human permission. My child, you have underestimated how quickly I can transform circumstances. You looked at the delays and assumed nothing would ever change. You looked at the closed doors and believed your opportunities had disappeared forever. You looked at your exhaustion and feared you would always feel this heavy. But hear me clearly now. One moment in my timing can change everything. One conversation, one opportunity, one connection, one breakthrough, one door, and suddenly, the season shifts. My beloved child, I know part of you still struggles to believe good things can happen quickly. Pain trained your spirit to expect struggle. Waiting trained your heart to expect delay. Disappointment taught your mind to stay guarded. But this next season will require expectation instead of fear. Because what I am bringing toward your life now will move differently than previous seasons. You are no longer spiritually asleep. You are awakening. And awakened spirits recognize doors they once would have missed entirely. You are changing. You can feel it. Your discernment is sharper now. Your spirit is stronger now. Your heart is more aligned now. That is why the breakthrough is approaching. Because you are finally becoming prepared to walk through the door without destroying yourself once you enter it. My child, there are things already aligning behind the scenes that you cannot fully see yet. Conversations are shifting. Timing is shifting. People are shifting. Circumstances are shifting. Heaven is arranging pieces into place. And although your eyes may still see incomplete evidence, Your spirit already senses the movement. That is why restlessness and expectation are rising inside you simultaneously. Part of you feels nervous, but another part feels ready, because deep down, you know your life cannot remain the same forever. And you are right, the old season is ending. Watch closely. The enemy wanted your attention fixed on what closed behind you. He wanted your focus trapped inside old disappointments. He wanted grief to blind you from new opportunities appearing ahead. But my beloved, do not stare at closed doors so long that you miss the new one opening in front of you now. Some endings were necessary precisely because the next door required different environments, different people, and a different version of you. That version is emerging now, the healed version, the discerning version, the spiritually awakened version. And because of that, you are about to access things your old self could never sustain properly. My child, there are prayers you whispered years ago that are still alive before me. Dreams you thought died are not fully dead. Promises you stopped expecting are not forgotten. Breakthroughs delayed by timing are not canceled. I know disappointment tried convincing you otherwise, but heaven has not abandoned your future, not even close. In fact, the next chapter has already begun moving toward you. You may not fully recognize it today, but soon you will. Soon things will begin making sense. Soon opportunities will arrive unexpectedly. Soon peace will begin replacing the heaviness that dominated your spirit for so long. And when the door opens, you will realize something powerful. The waiting season was not empty. It was preparation for acceleration. Because what takes years to prepare can suddenly manifest in a single moment once timing aligns. That is why you must stay spiritually awake now. Do not retreat back into hopelessness. Do not allow fear to silence expectation. Do not let old disappointments convince you that future miracles are impossible. Watch closely, because I am moving. The breakthrough approaching your life is closer than you think. And when it arrives, it will not require you to force it, chase it endlessly, or destroy your peace to keep it alive. What comes from me carries peace with it. My beloved child, the door opening before you was not created by human hands. And because I opened it, no enemy, no betrayal, no delay, and no darkness will be able to shut it. The season is changing. The shift has begun, and your breakthrough is approaching faster than you realize. My beloved child, before the next blessing fully arrives, there is something I need from you first. I need your surrender, not partial surrender, not temporary surrender, complete release. Because there are still things your spirit is holding on to that cannot follow you into the next season I prepared for you. And until you release them, your heart will remain too heavy to fully receive what is coming. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. Isaiah 43:18. My precious child, I know letting go is difficult, especially when the pain became part of your identity. Especially when the memories still feel alive inside you. Especially when your heart spent years attached to things you thought would last forever. But listen carefully now. You cannot carry old wounds into new seasons without eventually bleeding on the blessings I am sending. That is why surrender is necessary before restoration. I know there are still moments where your mind returns to the past. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the rejection, the conversations you replay repeatedly wondering what you could have done differently. And although part of you wants healing, another part still clings to the pain because it became familiar. But my beloved, familiar pain is still pain, and I did not create you to remain emotionally chained to old suffering forever. You are changing. You can feel it. Your spirit is becoming tired of carrying bitterness, tired of carrying regret, tired of carrying emotional attachments that continue draining your peace. That exhaustion is not weakness. It is your soul recognizing that it is time to release what no longer belongs in your future. My child, listen carefully now, because this next part matters deeply. There are blessings already approaching your life that require emotional space to enter fully. But if your heart remains occupied by old grief, old anger, old fear, old attachments, you will struggle to receive the new season properly. That is why I am confronting the hidden things your spirit still carries, not to shame you, but to free you. My beloved child, some of the things you are holding on to are no longer holding on to you, yet your heart still revisits them daily. You replay the pain, replay the memories, replay the disappointment, and every time you do, the wound stays open longer. I know part of you fears letting go because it feels like losing something important. But hear me clearly now. Releasing pain does not erase your story. It simply stops the pain from controlling your future. You do not have to pretend certain things never hurt. You do not have to deny the betrayal. You do not have to minimize what you survived. But you must stop living emotionally trapped inside seasons that already ended. Because, my child, your future cannot fully begin while your soul still lives in the past. That is why your spirit feels restless lately. Part of you is trying to move forward, but another part keeps turning backward emotionally, and that tension is exhausting your soul. I know there are people you still secretly wait for, apologies you still wish would come, closure you still hope someone will eventually give you. But my beloved, some healing begins the moment you stop waiting for broken people to repair wounds. Only I can truly heal. You are not waiting for them anymore. You are waiting for yourself to finally release them. That is the truth your spirit has been avoiding. And now, I am gently leading you toward surrender. Because the blessing cannot fully arrive while your hands remain tightly gripping old pain. My child, I know fear still whispers, if I let go, what if nothing better comes? If I stop carrying this pain, who will I become? If I release the past, what if I lose the only thing I still understand? But listen carefully now. You are not losing yourself through surrender. You are finding yourself again, the healed version, the peaceful version, the free version, the version no longer emotionally imprisoned by what hurt you. You can feel it. Part of your spirit is already ready to let go. That is why certain memories no longer satisfy you the same way. That is why your soul feels exhausted replaying old emotions repeatedly. That is why your heart secretly longs for peace more than revenge, answers, or explanations now. Healing is awakening inside you, and healing always requires release. My beloved child, there are hidden burdens your spirit was never meant to carry forever. The guilt, the shame, the fear of being hurt again, the constant emotional vigilance, the pressure to remain strong all the time. Lay it down now. You no longer need survival mode to protect your future. I am protecting you. That is why surrender matters. Because peace cannot fully enter hearts still crowded with unresolved pain. My child, there are doors ahead of you that old wounds cannot walk through. Not because you are unworthy, but because wounded patterns would sabotage the very blessings you prayed for. That is why I am healing your attachments now, healing your fears now, healing your identity now, before the breakthrough fully manifests, because healed spirits sustain blessings differently than wounded spirits do. And I love you too deeply to let old pain destroy what I am preparing for your future. My beloved, there are things you must finally release. Release the need to understand every betrayal. Release the need to force people to recognize your worth. Release the fantasy that the past could have become what your heart hoped for. Some chapters ended because they could not continue where I am leading you next. And that ending was mercy, even if it hurt. Especially because it hurt. You are changing. You can feel it. Your spirit no longer desires endless emotional chaos. Your soul no longer feels comfortable living in constant anxiety and attachment. Your heart is beginning to crave peace more deeply than emotional intensity. That is growth. That is healing. And heaven is honoring every step your spirit takes toward surrender. My child, The enemy wants you emotionally trapped because trapped hearts struggle to recognize open doors. That is why he keeps pulling your thoughts backward, keeps replaying old memories, keeps tempting your spirit to revisit pain that no longer belongs in your future. But your season is changing now, and your spirit must move forward with it. That is why I need your surrender, not because I want to take something from you, but because I want to give something greater to you. Peace greater than confusion, love greater than fear, freedom greater than survival, healing greater than hidden pain. But your hands cannot fully receive new blessings while still clutching old wounds tightly. So release them now. Release the heartbreak, release the disappointment. Release the version of yourself that believed suffering would always define your future. That season is ending, and the more you surrender, the lighter your spirit will become. My beloved child, one day you will realize that letting go was not the moment you lost everything. It was the moment you finally became free enough to receive everything I had been preparing for you all along. My beloved child, this is your confirmation. Not your imagination, not coincidence, not emotional confusion. The signs you have been noticing, the repeated feelings inside your spirit, the dreams, the strange pull drawing you toward change. They were real all along. You were hearing me. My sheep hear my voice. John 10:27. My precious child, there were moments you questioned yourself deeply. You wondered, am I overthinking this? Why do I keep feeling like something is shifting? Why do certain messages keep appearing repeatedly? Why does my spirit feel drawn toward change even when I cannot explain it logically? Because I have been speaking to you, quietly, consistently, lovingly. But fear kept trying to convince you that your spirit could not be trusted. The enemy wanted you disconnected from your discernment, disconnected from your intuition, disconnected from the voice inside you that kept whispering something greater is happening. But my beloved, that inner pull was never random. It was me preparing your spirit for the next season before your eyes could fully see it. This is your confirmation. I know there were nights you prayed silently asking for a sign, asking whether you were truly being guided, asking whether the feelings inside your spirit actually meant something. And now, here you are, still listening, still searching, still feeling this message deeply inside your soul. That is not accidental. My child, I have been reaching for your attention for a long time. Through repeated numbers, through dreams, through sudden emotions, through unexpected encounters, through messages that arrived exactly when your spirit needed them most. You thought maybe it was coincidence, but your soul kept recognizing something deeper, because your spirit already knew what your mind was still trying to understand. You are being guided. You can feel it. That is why certain things no longer satisfy you. That is why old environments suddenly feel heavy. That is why your spirit keeps longing for peace, truth, healing, and purpose. Awakening has already begun inside you, and now the confirmation is becoming undeniable. My beloved child, listen carefully now, because this next part matters deeply. The enemy spent years trying to silence your spiritual sensitivity. He wanted you disconnected from your discernment, disconnected from hope, disconnected from your purpose. Because once you begin trusting the voice I placed within your spirit, your entire life begins changing. That is why confusion attacked you so aggressively. That is why fear tried convincing you that your feelings meant nothing. That is why overthinking exhausted your mind repeatedly. The enemy hoped self-doubt would overpower discernment. But my precious child, you heard me anyway. Even through the fear, even through the exhaustion, even through the emotional noise surrounding your life, part of your spirit kept recognizing my presence. That is why you never fully settled into darkness. Something inside you kept searching for light. And now, you are finally beginning to understand why. Because I have been leading you this entire time. This is your confirmation. The doors closing were not punishment. The separations were not abandonment. The delays were not rejection. Everything was repositioning. Even the painful seasons carried hidden direction inside them. You just could not fully see it yet, but soon, everything will make sense. My child, the repeated feeling inside your spirit that your life is changing is real. The sense that you are stepping into a different season is real. The inner knowing that you cannot return to who you used to be is real. And the peace slowly replacing your old fear, that is real too. You are not imagining the transformation happening within you. You are awakening spiritually. You can feel it. The old version of you is fading. The fearful version, the constantly doubting version, the emotionally trapped version. And a stronger spirit is emerging now. A more discerning spirit, a more peaceful spirit, a more aligned spirit. That is why this message feels personal to you, because your soul recognizes truth when it hears it. My beloved child, I know there were moments you asked, God, are you really speaking to me? Are you truly still with me? Am I actually being guided? And my answer tonight is yes. Yes, I have been with you. Yes, I have been guiding you. Yes, I have been protecting you even through seasons you barely survived emotionally. And yes, the breakthrough approaching your life is real. The shift has already begun. I know part of you still fears disappointment. Part of you still struggles to fully trust good things after everything you endured. But hear me clearly now. The season ahead of you will not resemble the season behind you, because you are no longer the same person. You are stronger now, wiser now, more spiritually awake now, and heaven has been preparing you carefully for what comes next. This is your confirmation. The dreams were not meaningless. The tears were not wasted. The waiting was not empty. The strange inner pull guiding you away from old patterns was not imagination. It was preparation. My beloved child, there are moments in life where the spirit recognizes truth before the mind fully catches up. That is what is happening to you now. Deep inside, you already know something is shifting. You already know certain chapters are ending. You already know new doors are approaching. You already know you cannot continue living the same way forever, because your spirit has already seen glimpses of what is coming. And although fear still whispers sometimes, hope is becoming louder now. That is why this message found you, to remind you that you are not lost, not forgotten, not abandoned. You are being led, carefully, lovingly, intentionally. My child, stop doubting every sign of growth inside yourself. Stop dismissing the peace that has begun slowly returning. Stop ignoring the discernment awakening within you. Stop pretending you cannot feel the transformation happening in your spirit, because it is real. You are changing, and heaven is confirming it tonight. Type Amen if this message reached your spirit. Share this with someone who needs confirmation. My beloved child, the next chapter of your life will require courage. It will require trust. It will require surrender, but you are ready. Not because you know every detail of the future, but because you finally know I am with you. And once a spirit truly understands that, fear begins losing its power completely. This is your confirmation. The signs were real. The pull was real. The awakening was real. And the future opening before your life right now is real too. My beloved child, take a deep breath and listen to me carefully now. You made it through the storm. I know there were moments you thought you would not survive emotionally. Moments where the darkness felt endless. Moments where exhaustion wrapped around your spirit so heavily that even hope felt distant. But look at you now. You are still here, still breathing, still listening, still seeking my presence after everything that tried to pull you away from peace. And my precious child, that alone is proof that your new life has already begun. See, I am making all things new. Revelation 21:5. Not someday far away. Now. The transformation did not begin the moment circumstances changed outwardly. It began the moment your spirit started awakening inwardly. It began the moment you stopped settling for constant emotional chaos. It began the moment you started recognizing your worth again. It began the moment your soul became tired of surviving and started longing for peace instead. That was the beginning. You just did not fully realize it yet. My beloved child, you kept waiting for a dramatic sign while I was already changing you quietly from within. Your mind changed, your desires changed, your boundaries changed, your discernment changed. And slowly, your entire spirit began shifting toward healing, clarity, and truth. That is why old environments no longer fit you. That is why certain conversations began feeling heavy. That is why your soul started craving peace more deeply than temporary comfort. Because you are becoming new, you can feel it. The fearful version of you is losing power. The exhausted version of you is fading. The constantly anxious version of you no longer controls your life the way it once did. And although healing is still unfolding, your spirit is no longer trapped where it used to be. That is transformation. My child, listen carefully now because this next part matters deeply. The enemy wanted you convinced that your story would always remain painful. He wanted you to believe heartbreak would define your future forever. He wanted you to believe the heaviness would never leave. He wanted you to believe healing was only for other people. But darkness lied to you. Because I have been rebuilding your life piece by piece this entire time. Even during the seasons where you thought nothing was changing, I was restoring your mind, restoring your identity, restoring your hope, restoring your ability to trust again. And now, the evidence is beginning to appear inside your spirit. You are not who you used to be. You can feel it. You respond differently now. You see people differently now. You protect your peace differently now. The things that once destroyed you emotionally no longer carry the same power over your spirit. That is growth, that is healing, that is resurrection happening quietly within you. My beloved child, I know there are still scars. Healing does not erase every memory overnight. Transformation does not mean you never feel emotional again. But there is a difference now. The pain no longer owns you. You are learning how to feel without drowning, how to remember without remaining trapped, how to love without abandoning yourself completely. And heaven is proud of the progress your spirit has made. Even the small steps matter. The days you chose peace instead of chaos. The moments you stopped chasing people who drained your spirit. The nights you cried but still continued trusting me anyway. Every step mattered because all of it became part of your transformation, my precious child. You spent so long praying for your life to change, while not realizing the greatest miracle was already happening inside you. You became stronger, wiser, more discerning, more spiritually awake. You survived things that once would have destroyed you completely, and now, your spirit carries a depth that comfort alone could never produce. That is why the next season of your life will not resemble the last one. Because the version of you entering this season is no longer spiritually asleep. You are awake now, awake to your worth, awake to your purpose, awake to my presence, awake to the fact that you deserve peace, healing, and love that does not constantly wound your spirit. My beloved child, there are still beautiful things ahead of you. Do not allow old pain to convince you your best days are behind you. They are not. There are still prayers waiting to be answered, still joy waiting to reach your heart, still doors waiting to open, still peace waiting to settle deeply within your spirit. Your life is not ending, it is beginning again. And this time, you will enter the next season differently. Not desperate, not spiritually asleep, not emotionally chained to old wounds, but stronger. You can feel it. There is a calmness growing inside you now, a quiet confidence, a deeper trust that even if life becomes difficult again, you will not collapse the way you once did. because you now know who carries you, and that changes everything. My child, I know you once feared the future, but now hope is slowly replacing fear. You no longer feel completely trapped inside the darkness that once consumed your mind. You no longer feel abandoned in the silence. You no longer feel invisible in your pain, because you finally understand something your spirit needed to learn all along. I never left you. Not during the heartbreak, not during the waiting, not during the loneliness, not during the nights you cried without anyone knowing. I was there, protecting you, strengthening you, preparing you, and now leading you into a new beginning. My beloved child, do not return to the old version of yourself after this moment. Do not return to shrinking your spirit to keep others comfortable. Do not return to believing lies about your worth. Do not return to carrying burdens I never asked you to carry alone. Walk forward now, with peace, with clarity, with discernment, with faith, because your future no longer belongs to fear. It belongs to the person you are becoming, and the person you are becoming is beautiful, healed, awakened, stronger, wiser, closer to me than ever before. This is your new beginning. The shift has already happened. The healing has already started, and your new life has already begun. So take one final deep breath, my precious child. Release the fear, release the old pain, release the exhaustion that once convinced you your story was over. Because it is not over, not even close. The best parts of your journey are still unfolding. And when you look back one day, you will realize that every painful season, every hidden battle, every lonely night led you toward this moment of awakening. You are not leaving this message the same person who entered it.